What's good, everyone, and welcome to episode 34 of the Playconomics podcast, where we break down the business behind our favorite video game and provide you sweet financial context for industry trends. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Mascari, and joined with me today is the sleep-deprived, overworked, real-world focused, potentially G Fuel slipping, Bobby
Coffee.
Whatever.
Not my G Fuel canister is actually at the office. My
Nice.
Miami G Fuel. Yeah, so I sip on that every so often because I have quite the menagerie of coffee pods at my office.
Yeah, I love it. I love having work pay for coffee and just like the coffee machine.
My a lady who works with me, bless her heart, nicest lady on the face of the planet, for Christmas, unprompted, did not get her anything. Not even my Secret Santa. No, and I felt like such a sack of shit because of it. But unprompted, got me like a whole Costco fun pack of coffee.
Oh, that's nice.
And now I owe her my life, much like a mid-century Spanish duelist. I owe her my life.
Okay.
So that's how my day is going.
I said you were overworked. Regardless, I don't want to hear about your real life. I know enough about your real life.
No, Matt, help. This is a cry for help, okay?
Oh, God. Stop crying for help.
Why?
Instead of that, tell me what you've been playing. Because I know you've been playing Elden Ring. I want to know if you've played anything else. So
I haven't played anything else. I have not returned to Horizon Zero Dawn. I have not done that. But I have played more Elden Ring. Much less of it. Like I said, I'm playing Elden Ring in the complete wrong way. I'm playing Elden Ring how one would play a game they've already played. And I know, and stick with me. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Story, unimportant to me, the Elden Ring story.
Yeah.
I'm just going, I printed out list of Elden Ring bosses, and it is like a CIA SEAL Team 6 thick lantern hit list. And I'm just boom, 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 boom. I think I'm endgame. I'm really heavily, unabashedly spamming that rune farm I shared with you.
Yeah.
And if you want to know about the rune farm, jump in the Discord. I'd be more than happy to share a wonderful Elden Ring rune farm. So I'm like level, I want to say soul level 93, 94, somewhere like way too high for where I am.
And what boss are you on?
So I just cleared out all of the Liurny of the Lake big bosses. Beat
the dog, the mage.
I beat the dog. The dog was the most. Okay, here's the thing.
I'm on the dog.
Are you? We'll get because I can understand how if you're not playing range, the dog could be a real pain in the ass. I see that. Total Bloodborne boss, by the way, ripped directly from Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I beat Liurny of the Lakes. I beat the dungeon boss at the end of that dungeon, right? So like at the end of the academy, you beat the wolf, and then the next big boss. Yeah. I don't. It's something of the moon, brain fart, but also straight up Bloodborne boss. Okay, Ram the Spider and whatever her name is, Queen Wizardess of the Full Moon, same boss, same exact boss. No, okay.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. When you beat her, I will show you the Ram the Vacuous Spider fight, and you'll be like, oh, this is the exact same boss. In fact, now that I'm saying this out loud, the Ram the Vacuous Spider fight takes place under the goddamn full moon. You think you're fooling me, Miyazaki? You think you're slick? You're not, but I love you anyway. I love Elden Ring. Way overpowered. I'm just going down the list. Like I need that dopamine hit of beating a Souls boss every so often to help me cling to my fragile string of sanity that I have going on.
But you don't have the time to beat it at appropriate level.
Yeah, but I don't have the time to actually play the game, right?
Yeah.
So I beat Liurny of the Lakes. I am in Caelid, and I just beat Radan. Now, there's a character, Matt, who might be the coolest Soulsborne character I've ever seen ever. Cooler than the...
Are we going to go back to the Pope Turtle?
But no, the Turtle Pope is... I wouldn't say the Turtle Pope is cool, but the Turtle Pope is an omnipotent figure who I would lay my life on the line for.
Agreed.
Okay?
I would start many a religious war.
Yeah, totally. By all means, that would in a nanosecond that would occur.
Yep.
No, his name is, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. Blade. He is Google him. Him. You're about to get absolutely awestruck at how goddamn cool this thing is. Let me know when you see it. And for everybody playing Elden Ring out there, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about.
How do you spell it?
Blaidd, like it's some FromSoft ass spelling of a name. Just Google half wolf man with sword,
half wolf,
with big sword, Elden Ring. You tell me you don't want to be his friend, Matt?
Images. Jesus Christ.
Jesus, absolute unit.
This is like what you want your character to look like endgame.
This is the type of person I would want to marry my daughter if I ever had one. Okay?
Jesus Christ.
That's all I have to say about it.
No, my thing is I don't think I could because I don't think...
Because you're a racist?
No, I don't think my masculinity is enough for this man. Like, I don't think he'll value my lineage enough.
Interesting.
Enter into my family.
Interesting.
He'll be like, no.
Interesting.
No. I've seen your dad. No. My son will not come out like that.
That being said, Elden Ring continues to surprise me with the open world. Loving it more and more. But the reused parts, the parts that are clearly like I'm talking about from other FromSoft games, are pretty glaring at this point. Like, there are some boss fights that are just copy and paste. And that's fine. But like, I don't know. I don't want to be like a whiny gamer or anything like that. I think Elden Ring is phenomenal. There's not much more to say on it. We'll talk about the sales in a second because I'm not the only one who has this sentiment. But Matt, you're playing Elden Ring the right way.
Yes.
So why don't you share with me your experience through the land before time between whatever it's called?
Yeah. So I am at Rhea Lucaria's castle. Like, I'm in the academy. I'm going through it. I would like to point out an egregious thing with the wolf. There is like...
pause. Are we talking about the wolf fight, the red wolf, or are we talking about half man, half wolf Giga Chad?
Right before the red wolf.
Okay. Yeah.
Before you get into that fight, there's 12 to 15 enemies.
Mages. Yeah. See, that boss run, that is a regular Soulsborne boss run. None of this, would you like to respawn right before the boss fight? No. It's, hey, there's a gauntlet before you get to the boss. Deal with it or don't. This is a Soulsborne.
Okay, so
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So me and my brother have handled this two different ways. He has perfected the path between that boss and the bonfire. And the respawn. I have found out that I can run and line of sight every single enemy, and I don't take a single piece of damage.
Nice.
Getting into the boss.
Nice.
Which one's the correct way to do it? I don't know.
Much like the Tootsie Roll owl, the world may never know.
The world may never know. However, that's how I'm getting to the boss. And it is really hard as melee. Just because my squid is getting his attention. By the time I run over to him, he's no longer attacking the squid. He's jumping around the room, throwing lightsabers.
Here's what I would suggest for a boss like that if you're not playing ranged. Find a way to status affect him. Whether that be poison or bleed, That is how I would handle it if I was not playing ranged.
So because I'm a paladin, I have quite a bit of faith. So I have lightning bolt, which is absolutely broken of a spell. It's really, really good. The problem is it's a little slow in the air, so it's difficult to hit him with. I've decided to switch. I have black flame, which puts a burn on him, or honing bolt. And that strikes directly down and it's very fast. So that will get him. It's just like, I just don't want to use magic because I use those two spells for enemies that there's too big of a pack and they're too far away for me to like adequately get to them and close distance without them lighting me up with magic. So I use lightning bolt, I hit one of them and now it's a 1v1 or a 2v1 and that's manageable. A 3 or 4v1 is stupid when you have a shield and you're fighting magic people. Like, I'm never going to get close enough. They stagger you. It's dumb.
Okay.
However, I don't want to use it against the boss. Like, I eventually got Margit.
Yeah.
I parried, I block countered, I rolled, and eventually Margit died because I hit him with a sword. Same thing with Godric.
You've got the taste for it now.
Like, the pride of my sword and shield. I need to kill this dog with my sword and shield. So I don't know if I'm just gonna damage him with the lightning bolts, and then eventually once the squid dies, he will get up in my face and I will get up in his face.
And then you'll kiss him.
Yeah, I have thought about the mage boss after, and I'm very, very concerned that is going to be a difficult fight for me, again, being melee.
You're going to get absolutely... Oh, my Lord. You're done.
My brother just beat it, and he was like, I honestly don't know how you're going to do this.
What build is Mike playing, just for context?
So he's playing a faith build, but it's all magic. So I have a faith build based around sword and shield, paladin. He's got more of a priest or like cleric going on, where he's blasting people with lightning bolt. He's hitting them with honing bolt. He's hitting them with black fire stuff. He's got a lot of magic going on and no shield or anything.
You two need to come over to Camp Thick Lantern, all mage, glintstone sorcery, rock sling.
He didn't know. So he thought that, like, when he made his class and was like, oh, I want to be a faith person, thought he was going to be able to use
all the spells and such.
Yeah, and you can't. Like, you need I think mages use rods, right? Or like staffs, yeah.
Wands. And we'll talk about wands, that Harry Potter thing, a little bit later.
Oh, stop it. I fucking hate Harry Potter.
But Matt, let's transition into some
financial
some financial context here for Elden Ring.
We're breaking down the business behind our favorite video games.
You're goddamn right. Elden Ring is setting the world on fire. First article coming to us from Mr. Paul Tassi. You love to see him. Get him on the podcast. From over at Forbes, titled, Elden Ring's 12 million sales outpace all of these classic games. Reading from the article now, Elden Ring has just announced that it sold an absolutely incredible 12 million copies in its first 3 weeks, numbers that are on a scale we've never seen from Software or the Soulsborne genre, but really nearly any major release in the entire industry outside of a scarce few. In the peak of all of Call of Duty mania with the release of Modern Warfare 3, that game famously sold 10 million copies day one. But outside of that, Elden Ring is at a level we rarely see. And then he goes on to list how long it took some big name games to reach 10 million sales. So just for context here, Elder Scrolls Skyrim took him a month. The Division, 3 months. GTA 5, this one was shocking. 10 million purchases in
GTA 4.
Oh, 4. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised. GTA 4, 3.5 months. Borderlands 3, 8 months. Diablo 3, 6 months. God of War 2018, a year and change. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, 10 million in 20 months. And then you've got Elden Ring, which did 10 million in 3 weeks. So, holy shit. You
It's
know,
crazy. It's
it's
crazy.
here's what I'll say about Elden Ring sales. It's a testament to sticking to your creative vision, believing in your product, and knowing that even if the formula needs to be tweaked slightly, taking it from more linear stuff to open world, that Soulsborne formula is where it is. Man, for everybody saying get good or Elden Ring is gatekeepy, Elden Ring should have an easy mode, I have 10 million people who disagree with you at this point.
Yeah, it's and I'm trying to think of what makes it so accessible, and I really think it I don't want to say it's anything about the game that is making it that popular. I think it really just it became like a cultural phenomenon to
Bro,
be.
what you've got Doc playing it, you've got Barstool Sports, Barstool Gaming playing it. It is unreal the level of adoption that a at one time very niche product is being adopted at here. How much of that is zeitgeist? How much of that is Twitter cool clips? But like this game, more than most games I've seen in a while, has fostered this community talk about, like, exactly like we're doing here. Oh,
Yeah,
you do it like this. Well, Mike did it like this, and I did it like that. That I feel like so few games have the potential to do.
and they just don't.
They just don't. Exactly.
It's crazy. And I don't think it started with Elden Ring. Like I think Elden Ring delivered, but I
Hmm.
think there was this presence building up from Dark Souls 3 into or Bloodborne was first, right? It was Dark Souls 2, then Bloodborne, then Dark
Dark
Souls
Souls
3.
3, then Sekiro, then now Elden Ring. Yeah.
No, yeah, but when was Bloodborne? Before Dark Souls 3, right?
Yes. Yes.
So there was Bloodborne and it was building up and that got critically reviewed very well. Then there was Dark Souls 3 and people started talking about the Dark Souls games and the difficulty and the people were comparing things to Dark Souls. And then you had Sekiro. And I feel like it was just this bubble building in the gaming community that like Dark Souls and the Soulsborne games were the epitome of challenging gaming and it was gaming for gamers, and then they made a banger title. Like I think the cultural part of it where you were playing a video game and it was hard, and then no matter where you said it on the internet, somebody was like, "It's not Dark Souls. It can't be that hard." That it became such a culturally known game in the gaming industry and for gaming fans that
Hmm.
when they released a game like this, how could you not play it?
It You very rarely see a property break out like this, right? Like
So late.
just so late, like just some rough math. I mean, $60 a pop times
12 million.
I'm gonna say 10 million. That's six
Yeah.
hundred million dollars. Granted, everybody gets a cut, this and that, but gross? Christ.
It's 3 weeks.
Now do it with Bloodborne 2. Oh my god, man.
How would you feel if instead of Bloodborne 2, you get a fully themed expansion that's completely Bloodborne themed? Like the world is just Bloodborne, same size, maybe scaled down a little bit, but you take your character from Elden Ring
Elden Ring.
into it. Or would you rather
It
just
would never work because the thing with Bloodborne, that I would argue that Bloodborne is still the best Soulsborne game, even with Elden Ring out. I would say it's number one with Elden Ring just biting at its heels. The thing that makes Bloodborne great is the dodging system. There's no fat roll or depending on my equipment weight, it's dodge, dodge, dodge. The defense is offense in Bloodborne, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens in Bloodborne is when you get hit, your health bar goes down, but it like you see it go down, but like the opacity changes, right? So if I get hit, I have like 4 seconds to then counter hit the boss, right? So
Yep.
let's say I get hit 10 points down in
Mhm.
Bloodborne. If I in that window hit the boss back, I can get back 2 points, 4 points, 6 points,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It rewards a very aggressive play
Oh
style.
my god, Bloodborne is just uncut raw aggression.
Yeah. I was reading something about it where, because like I was looking at it obviously, and I was like, what are some of the builds for Bloodborne? And I was like, oh, what's the like popular sword and shield? Because obviously, I have a sword and shield. There's one shield in the game,
The wooden shield
and it's a
does
wooden
nothing.
shield,
Does
and it
nothing.
it has. I want to look up what the quote on it is
It's like
because it's
won't do you much good or something. I know exactly what you're
yeah,
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
wooden shield. But like from there, and then I started reading it. I was like, what is the point of this wooden shield? And I was like,
Nothing.
oh, it's just to it's basically saying you shouldn't play like this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Elden Ring's sales are really at this point. You got to wait for the dust to settle with a game like this, right? Because the last game I could think of that had such widespread adoption throughout the industry was Witcher 3. Witcher 3 was the last like deep RPG fantasy, like not Call of Duty, not Madden, was like the last big game I saw take over conversation in this way.
Yep.
Um so we'll see all told where Elden Ring lands, but kudos to them. It's a phenomenal product and I'm curious to see where they go next.
It's taken me away from triangle strategy.
Good.
I barely
Good.
even picked it up. I will say we didn't get to talk about it on what you were playing. It's a when you come from playing Elden Ring, and obviously they are drastically different games,
Mhm.
it's too slow. It is too slow to play
Can't do
when
it.
you're playing something like Elden Ring. So I think I'm gonna have to complete Elden Ring, maybe get into my second playthrough because I'm definitely go a full magic build
Oh my
after
god,
this.
you're going to love it. You're going to
Because
love
like
it.
because there's things that I struggle with and frustrate me about being a sword and shield class that I think a
Like you
mat
can't
like
just spam while your enemies far away.
it's not even
I
that. It's
often
just
struggle with that as well.
like there's just I know that I'm missing something by having to get so close to enemies, and I'm
Mhm.
missing a level of strategy or I'm missing a level of different strategy because my strategy is to thin the crowd as much as possible and then just
You're
try to block counter in a sweep.
you're just wasting mana at that point. You got to go right for the kill. To quote Doc, violence, speed, and momentum, man. You just got to go right into it.
But I would like to point you to our second. No. I see you highlighting. No. One before we get into that,
What have
I
I
want you to
highlighted?
go into the yahoo.com.
Okay.
Yeah, click into that.
From Software hopes to take Elden Ring beyond the realm of games. This is coming to us on Jeff Young, yahoo.com. Reading from the article now, From Software hopes to take Elden Ring beyond the realm of games, following the massive success of Elden Ring, which saw 12 million in global sales just after a month of release, a little bit less. From Software is now hoping to expand on the franchise and more than just video games. In a press release detailing the latest sales figures, the developer and publisher Bandai Namco announced their intentions to bring the game into other forms of media. Please look forward to more Elden Ring as an IP, characters, and other intellectual property in hopes of expanding beyond the realm of games, the statement read. Decision which probably wouldn't come as a surprise given the critically acclaimed and widespread popularity of the game has achieved, especially after investing significantly in building its fantastical world with Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin. I'm totally on board with this, not only for Elden Ring, but for all FromSoft properties, right?
You
I'm
want
not,
them to make TV shows and movies out of them?
no, actually, what I would prefer is
Graphic novel.
graphic novel or novelization. I'm not one who really has ever read like the novelization of movies or like the novelization of games, and I
Yeah.
understand the market for that. People love them, but when it comes to a FromSoft game, the lore is so deep and so baried.
Yeah, I was gonna say no surface level lore.
I would love like okay, go back to I'm going to talk about Bloodborne here cuz whatever, Elden Ring spoilers, but whatever. Like for all my Bloodborne people, like wouldn't you love a novel just about Gehrman? Gehrman is the first hunter, or just about the healing church? Like a novel that takes place as someone in the healing church or part of the choir? Yeah, you would. Goddamn right you would, right? So I'm all on board with this.
Do you know? And I'm not saying this is a good idea, but this is the vibe that I'm getting from Elden Ring.
Give me the
where
vibe.
if they were going to do a TV series
Mhm.
or a movie,
Mhm.
I would like, if they're going to do a TV series, I would like this to happen for the first 2 to 2.5, maybe 3 episodes. And then a movie, I want the first half of the movie like this. I want it silent. I don't want the main character to say anything. I want barely anyone talking to him. All I want to hear is the environment, the clashing of weapons, the conjuring of spells, and like enemies yelling, screaming, being, or like a dragon roaring.
Just living in the world.
Yeah. Like I just want it completely gritty like that.
It's so
And
funny you say that. It's so funny you say that because I saw Batman, the new Batman film last
Mhm.
weekend. And this I am not a I'm a superhero fan, but I'm not a big Batman fan. And this
You're
was one
wrong.
of the few films that I would put this Batman film I think is better than any of the Christopher Nolan movies. Full stop. I think is as good as Logan, which I think is the best superhero movie ever. And the reason for that is exactly what you're saying. The new Batman film is a masterclass in filmmaking and environmental storytelling, right?
Mhm.
Like if you watch the Nolan movies,
Yep.
Gotham City is Chicago because they filmed it in
In
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.
If you watch this one, everything is wet and greasy and dirty, and there's just this oppressiveness about it. Talking about sound, the reason I think Pattinson is getting so much hype as Batman is because number one, he's Batman for like 97% of the movie, like in Batman gear.
Really?
Yeah, you barely see him as Bruce Wayne, like 2 scenes, I think.
That's so interesting because I liked the idea of him more as Bruce Wayne. Like I thought they were going to do a Bruce Wayne focused movie
No,
with him.
no.
That's wild.
It is the new Batman is a serial killer movie that happens to have Batman in it. It is so phenomenal. There are certain shots, and if you've seen Batman, you know what I'm talking about, where it's just sound. Like you hear his footsteps, and then he just comes out of the dark. He doesn't say anything. He says very few lines.
Yep.
So I agree with you. That's a very interesting concept that I also would like to see.
But to be honest, with all of the like the BioShock, we've been talking about a lot of things getting movie and TV adaptations. I really thought this was going to trigger you, and this was not in any way, shape, or form what I wanted from you. I'm disappointed with your reaction. I'm pretty upset. The viewers are upset. We thought we were going to get a TikTok click out of this.
What do you want from me? Matt, what do you want? You want me to go off on Elden Ring? You want me to go off on it? You want me to tell you that an Elden Ring TV show is a bad idea?
I straight up put this. I was at work doing research for this during my lunch break and was like, I'm sitting there answering emails, eating lunch, doing podcast stuff, and I'm straight like, this is going to be a great TikTok clip. Bobby's going to point at the camera. He's going to look and he's saying, I'm telling you, and whoever was pitching this idea of an Elden Ring show, you were going to do some crazy rant, and instead you were fully behind it. You made a very rational, coherent thought about how it should be presented. I agreed. And here we are.
Very unlike me.
I know.
Right?
You are stressed.
That's how you know. When I don't even have the energy to listen. I put out a lot of negativity about video game based transmedia properties, like taking something from the console to the big screen, right? Like I stand firm that if anybody except Guillermo del Toro makes the BioShock movie, they didn't make it right.
That's
Also,
fair.
if you don't cast me as Andrew Ryan, you didn't make it right. Also, Bryan Cranston as Andrew Ryan. That's a freebie, Guillermo. I have plenty more if you want to chop it up anytime.
Anytime, literally.
Literally anytime.
But talk about it.
I'm sputtering out here, Matt.
I know. Let me set the stage for you.
Is this our next topic?
It is.
Because this is what I've saved my energy for.
I know. And that's why I put it second, so that we can get you warmed up. We can get me talking. And then boom. The meat, the potatoes. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. We're filming on St. Patrick's Day. I hope you're eating corned beef and cabbage or whatever.
Is today St. Patrick's Day?
Bobby, yeah.
I can't tell.
Yes, it's March 17th. It's St. Patrick's Day.
Christ alive.
Yep.
Matt, when I tell you I had no idea.
The only reason I know is because we had an event for it at work.
Okay, I work in an office of professionals, and nobody told me it was St. Patrick's Day.
It's wild. I've been told literally since I got in the office, Matt, are you coming to the St. Patrick's Day party?
And you're like, no, I got to film the world's #1 business video games podcast.
No, I literally did go to the St. Patrick's Day event, and then I did this.
Wonderful.
But, yeah. However, we're going to rein it in. Because big things happened.
Oh,
I think it was Tuesday.
Yes, it was Tuesday.
So, Doc, last week we covered the fact that Doc and Twitch, I wouldn't say amicably.
The lawsuit is squashed. It's done.
Yeah.
Whatever happened.
Yeah, they agreed to disagree on it.
Exactly.
But now we have Dr. Disrespect introducing, and I'm going to read the title of the article. Dr. Disrespect, industry changing AAA game kicks off with an NFT giveaway. And before you come into the comments and say, oh, why do they have to be NFTs? Why are everything NFTs? Blah, 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 blah. I am skeptical of NFTs. I really am. I still think they're potentially a scam. In some ways, shape, or forms, I really do think all of the money that's made is already been made. Unless you're making them, you're not really going to make any money buying them. Major players have them already. And I said on this show that the application of the NFT is going to be where the money is. And this clicked as soon as I saw what was happening with it.
It opened your eyes. You saw the Matrix finally.
It's perfect. It's not egregiously priced. So basically what we're going to set the scene is Doc is doing his AAA game product.
Yeah, let's break down the article because I think Paul Tassi does a pretty good job summing it up here. So if you
go for it.
You want me to do it?
Yeah. I'm not going to take this week.
I'm going to do my best impression of Paul Tassi.
Never heard him talk.
My name's Paul Tassi. That's my impression of Paul Tassi. Okay, reading from the article now. I've seen lots of streamers or influencers try to make the leap from content creation to consultation and game creation, and it's a tough road. When I heard that Dr. Disrespect was forming his own AAA studio, I was somewhat skeptical, but bolstered by the news that it contained some very real talent like ex-Call of Duty legend Robert Bowling, among others who have worked on Gears of War, Halo, and Destiny. The studio is Midnight Society. Its first name is codenamed Project Moon, and Dr. Disrespect says their approach is going to change the industry. And yet, things are starting off to a somewhat strange start. The big online kickoff event for Midnight Society yesterday was centered almost entirely around a giveaway of an NFT, a Day Zero patch for a limited number of early applicants. It's a digital emblem that gets stored in a digital wallet to show that you were there from the start. This is a bit eye-rolling given both my personal feelings on NFTs, but also that we have seen many attempted NFT integrations as of late, which have found little success or have been shouted down by irate fans who want nothing to do with NFTs, which are viewed as both harmful to the environment or as a scheme to extract money from players. Midnight Society claims its NFTs are more eco-friendly than most, and it's not a scheme because it's just a giveaway. But it raises questions about what exactly they're building over there, and Doc's replies have been a mix of people have been a mix of people disappointed or angry about the NFT, with others showing they've claimed it. I'm one of those people, and so is Matt.
So am I.
Previously, Doc stated that NFT and crypto would be part of his game back in August 2021. Now he's on stream talking about the integration. I'll leave the rest of the article down to Paul here, but essentially, to encompass what Doc's, and I'm not here to shill for Doc's NFT. I'm not, because I bought one because I'm a fan of his content. I believe in his work. I think anybody who can take a pro wrestling persona and turn it into the empire he has is nothing short of commendable within the sense of building a business, right? So starting from there, number one, he said it has nothing to do with the game. Number two, based on how he framed the little teases of what the game is, it seems like without the NFTs, you can still play the game. The game will be free to play. The NFTs are more to do what Matt and I have been saying, what we talked about with Brandon from Vayner Gaming a couple weeks back on the Playconomics Plus, that the implication of the NFTs is the community. This is an application-based NFT. And if you go through the application, it's all about, are you willing to participate in playtesting? Are you willing to, submit feedback? At what level would you like to be included in development or feedback, right? And Doc's number one point that he kept giving feedback on in the stream when people were kind of heckling him about it was, oh, I'm going to make a game and not have my most devoted community base involved. See you in 2 years. Bye. And you know what? Love him or hate him, he's got a point. If you think about it this way, right? And I've said this a couple times, but just to kind of make the point as salient as I can. When PUBG was popping off, if everybody who started a battle royale game then was already late, right? Who started building a battle royale game from the ground up was already late if they started developing it the minute PUBG hit mass market. Yeah, you had some pop-offs, Fortnite, Apex, but how many of those have we seen just fall? I quite a few, right?
A lot.
So for Doc to come out and say this NFT is to vet the most committed players and the players who are willing to participate in feedback of creating a product that is tailored to them, their experience, and their ability to, I don't want to say play to earn, but their ability to feel like they have a stake in the game. Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, and yeah, let finish your point, and then I will go off on my own tangent.
No, so what my thing is, the people who get this emblem have a communal zeitgeist stake in the game more so than anything else, right? You and I both play Pokemon. We both have Pokemon cards. Cool, neat, awesome, great. But we are both, hopefully, going to be day zero patch holders of Doc's NFT, along with the 9,998 other people who will also have the emblems. Saw that quick math.
Yep.
So to me, that's the community I want, because those people are the most hardcore fans. They were there day one. They know what they're talking about. They believe in the product. There's your base. There's your base right there.
Completely agree. And so 2 major points on this. One, the free one that came with just signing up and creating your profile and you got that day 0 patch, that is nothing more than an Apex Legend first day, first week, first month, first year badge in the game.
Correct. Exactly.
They literally look the same. Like it looks like a badge from Apex Legends. Same thing. All he's doing is giving it potential monetary value, which it already has, because you can sell your day one Apex Legends
your
account.
founder's pass.
Yeah. No. I'm saying like in games right now, if you have one of those like day one things from another game, like Apex Legends literally has a day one badge where you logged on the day it was released. No one else has ever been able to get that because they didn't play on day one. You can sell your account basically the same way you could sell an NFT.
Exactly.
What I think is the best and how I want video games to interact with NFTs are exactly what Doc did with his paid NFT. First and foremost, it's not egregiously priced. It's $50.
$50.
I will pay $50 for an add-on to a game. That might not be for everyone. That might not be what you want to do. There's $50 is as low of a barrier to entry into paid content as you are going to get.
Into a commoditized version of paid content, because you have DLC that's cheaper. What I'll say is, this is you're like those swamp verse things. I was still investing in
Yes.
swamp verse.
Yeah.
Like the cheapest one's like $700.
No, but what I'm saying is even DLC, if they sold you DLC for $50, most people would buy that DLC. Like $50 is not an egregiously marketed or an egregiously high value for something in the gaming industry, for something related to a video game and not an actual
Correct.
video
It's
game.
within the buyer's mind space they're already
Yes.
conditioned to spend that kind of money. I understand what you mean now.
So it's not egregious. It's limited to 10,000 people, which gives it a, considering Doc's fan base, very limited scope of who is going to have this available. But it provides a service that directly relates you to game content that isn't pay to win. So it's you are paying this $50 and getting this badge of honor, so to speak, to be able to interact with the game development of a studio that you can then, when you no longer believe in this product, when you no longer find yourself playing video games, when you no longer want anything to do with that video game and you have moved on to a new video game, you can pass that ticket to someone else and they get to experience all of those things for monetary value.
Hodl for life. I'm never giving up my Doc NFT.
Yeah, no way.
Out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah. This, I will 100% hold on to mine. Even the day one badge or the day zero badge. Awesome thing just to have. And this is the way that NFT should be collected. For in the gaming market, there is no better way than timestamps on when you were involved in a video game. And like, imagine if for Elden Ring, and not to bring it back to Elden Ring, you got a NFT for beating Margit day one.
Yep. This is what I was talking about the other day with Brandon when he had him on the podcast, where I was like, what if you commoditize platinum trophies on PlayStation?
Yeah. But what I don't want it limited to who can do it first. Because there were people that played Dark Souls that are just better than me that would have beaten it first, and they're speedrun. There's people that are beating the game in 30 minutes now.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah. But like, it's just something where like it's feasible for most people to get it if they really put their mind into it. Like if for each boss you could have gotten an NFT for beating it day one, you won. The company now knows that you are playing that game for hours on launch. You were in this game. You are a fan. And it's something no one, and it's like a badge. I guess you have the like achievement saying, hey, I beat this, but you can't do anything with it. It's just an achievement. So I think this is the perfect way to implement it. I understand the skepticism of having NFTs in video games. Don't interact with it. You don't have to. Like this,
that's the point here. And I completely agree with you. The Doc has gone on record. It does not affect the game, does not affect gameplay. And listen, if C-level executive at game company X was coming out telling me as a gamer and as just a consumer saying it's not play to win. We believe in our okay, you've been media vetted. You understand. Doc is a man who 3 times a week for 8 hours a day straight plays multiplayer games. He is a man who worked and created multiplayer games. He knows them inside out, backwards, and upside down. This is someone who, when they tell me, hey, it's not play to win pay to win rather, is shitty, I say, yes, I agree. Guess what? even though when a new Call of Duty season drops, the first day Doc streams, he buys the entire battle pass, which is like a $150 to $200 drop right there. He still says how shitty it is. So I believe that person, right? I believe that person.
And like, as of right now, the two ways that these are implemented: one, completely free, given to anybody that signed up, and two, it's a $50 cost, has zero game interaction with anything that would give you an advantage over another player. If you want to do this for cosmetics, I think there's a fine line, because if you're making only the cool cosmetics are NFTs or NFT related, and the ones that like people that aren't interacting with that aren't good, then we kind of draw a line where you need that balance of like good things in the actual game for the people that played for the game. But if this is all just developer interaction and you get a behind the scenes look and early access to some of these games, like maybe these 10,000 people will have alpha and beta access. What's wrong with
Right?
that?
Nothing. Literally nothing. And more to the point, I've submitted my application to Midnight Society. Even though there's no application for any video production stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a general application. My God. Doc is one of the few people who I'd be like, don't get me wrong, I love my job. I love my job very much. You know the big shit I got cooking on my end, right?
Yeah. Love to see it.
I'm bare knuckle boxing Vladimir Putin next week. Okay? That's what I'm doing. Doc is one of the few people who I'd be like, I gotta do this. I gotta.
Yeah.
I like that's
It's like, okay.
so if my employees are ever watching this, I love you guys.
I'll try to make it work.
I just also love Doc.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
All right.
Next topic.
Hit me.
Hit me, man. Christ, we are all over the place.
Hold on.
The accountant's listening to this on the treadmill.
I know.
He just tripped.
Yeah. He's like 14 miles deep. All right. So our topic 3 is one near and dear to my heart. Obviously, nothing huge came out of it, but we're talking about the ID at Xbox. What was that?
I picture the accountant on the treadmill wearing one of those green visors while he's accounting. So he's getting his. That's it. I'm sorry. I'm on some silly shit today. Topic number 3.
Yeah, one of our favorite people in the Discord is an accountant by trade, and we only refer to him as that because obviously we're not going to share his real name on the podcast. But we like to picture him doing accounting things in video games.
Alan Greenspan is the accountant, confirmed.
It's not. So our next article,
Alan Greenspan, is in the Discord.
Is by Game Informer, specifically written by Wesley LeBlanc. And it's just, they go through everything announced during today's ID at Xbox event. The biggest thing, and I'm not going to go through each and every announcement and release that they're talking about. The big thing that came out of this really shows that, one, they're trying to have a bigger market in the JRPG place, because I think they released like 4 or 5 that they're saying are upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
2, they have multiple Game Pass day one drops.
I believe they're almost all of them are day one.
I believe well, I was saying they're announcing multiple things that are just day one Game Pass drops. Everything they announced in the ID at Xbox was, when it is released, will be day one on Xbox or on Game Pass. They're doubling down on Game Pass. They're doubling down on JRPGs. They're trying to get into there. They're really going for it. And they're also doubling down on indie games for Game Pass. And I think that is the perfect coupling of what Game Pass should be. It should be big Microsoft titles and indie games. And I love it. And I love it for them. What? Give me your criticism. What do you want?
Look,
if Sony came out with this, you would be all over it.
Not necessarily.
None.
Because I can play the argument both ways, and I think both are adequate and valid. What I mean by that is, how much what is the okay, what is the opportunity cost? Let me frame it like that. What is the opportunity cost as an indie dev to have your game on Game Pass, right? Now, I am unaware of the financial backing of something like Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
But what I can equivocate it to is something on Netflix, right? So a perfect example of this would be Squid Game.
Mhm.
A very niche product that got picked up by Netflix, that because it's on Netflix and stuff, next to stuff like uh whatever the Netflix show is with House of Cards and
Yeah.
Orange is the New Black and like all of these prestige big budget things. Oh, well, there's a sudden mass adoption of this thing once it gets a groundswell behind it, right?
Yep.
So in that, great. Netflix has given the opportunity to Squid Game. Xbox has given the opportunity to an indie game. What I would love to know, and if you are a dev, if you are someone who has submitted your game to Game Pass, what I am so curious about is it a flat fee? Is it royalties? How does this work, right? Because I think back to the Sony buying Insomniac versus Bethesda getting purchased by Microsoft kind of thing,
Mhm.
where you're like, okay, we are definitely as if not more valuable than this other thing, and we got gypped. Like, does that make sense?
So
Like
you're so
the
you're saying that by putting a game on Game Pass, you're potentially missing out on the revenue that your game would have generated by itself if you had put it out yourself?
correct.
Wholeheartedly, and I mean this with all due respect, I don't think any game that comes out on Game Pass regrets it. Because one of two things happens. An indie game that's going to try to charge $60 and sit on a shelf at GameStop is never going to get played. And I guarantee you, they make more money after Xbox takes its cut than they ever would have made without that exposure. And the same thing goes for Squid Game. Squid Game could have released and not been on Netflix. And even though Netflix took an egregious cut on that, they made more money on that than they would have ever made releasing it outside of Netflix. And the biggest win is, what about Squid Game 2? Because do you know how much money Netflix is going to have to shell out to get Squid Game 2 on Netflix? And do you know how much they're going to have to put?
$7.
Yeah. $7 out of here. The amount of money that they're going to generate because of that exposure is worth every single penny, almost to the point where if Xbox said I want everything, if your game is good, it's worth everything to have that exposure. For Tunic 2, for Psychonauts 3, for It Takes Two Part 2, It Takes 3.
It Takes 4.
Yeah, whatever. Math. But you get what I'm saying.
I
think
completely get where you're coming from. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a cut, and I'm sure for indie games it's steep. And if anyone listening does know exactly how that breakdown is, I've reached out to a couple of developers to see if they could comment on like what that type of contract is with them. But as long as you're making some money on it, I guarantee you're making more than if you were to just put it out on your own in the Xbox store or at a GameStop.
It's all a game of opportunity cost, in my opinion.
Agreed.
But
And
one opportunity we can't afford to lose. I was talking
is it?
about another little game that we saw today. Reviews are dropping. Matt, you want to talk about a fun little review about a fun little game called Tunic?
I would. And this article is brought to you by Game Skinny. Written by
Yeah,
a
who
friend
wrote that article
a
over at
friend
Game
of the
Skinny?
podcast. And you'll remember in the video linked when we had our friend Samuel Adams on the show discussing the ABK Microsoft acquisition. And he does a beautiful article about Tunic titled Tunic Review. Feeling foxy.
Love it.
A gorgeous art style, phenomenal gameplay, and an old school game design makes Tunic one of the most enjoyable indies in years. The world of indie games has grown by leaps and bounds over the last decade, with developers around the world producing some of the most creative and enjoyable experience to date. Bastion, Axon Verge, Stardew Valley, Hades, they're all standout examples of independent developers that have pushed gaming in incredible directions to create generation defining experience. Now Tunic is about to take place among the greats. Developed by a single developer, which I missed this the first read through. The fact that somebody put this whole game together by themselves is wild. Tunic puts you in the, or Andrew Andrew Sholdus. If I butchered it, Sam, let me know. Text me or something. Tunic puts you in the role of a heroic
Sam's
little fox.
yelling at his keyboard.
I know, he's so mad. Puts you in a role of a heroic little fox that wakes in a foreign land and is launched into a new adventure immediately. Within minutes of starting Tunic, it is clear that it takes plenty of inspirations from old school titles like The Legend of Zelda.
And I'll stop you right there, Matt.
Yeah, please do.
I want people right now to click on the link below and go read Sam's article. Take the time on the train, on the plane, while you're pooping, making coffee, read Sam's article.
As per usual, it is linked below.
I want, though, and Sam, if you can hear me, man, and I know you, I hope you can. I hope I'm reaching out through the ether of the internet. Paul Tassi on Forbes has like these narrated articles, okay? Sam's voice is too good not to have a narrated version of this review on Game Skinny. Okay?
Sam, I need you to say Tunic review, feeling foxy in a YouTube video. I don't know how we're going to do it, but please send the audio clip to us on Twitter.
And I think, Matt, I think we could bring it in for a landing, buddy. I'm skimming through. I'm good here. Are you good here, Matt?
I'm good.
We're good here. And if you're good here, if you like what you hear, leave us a good review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you take in this content, share it with somebody you think will also find it valuable. Tell us you love us on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter. Join the Discord because the accountant gets wild in there. Okay,
yeah.
It was posting some Harry Potter fan fiction that I believe put us on a government watch list. So I will have to get Discord on the line about that. But until next time, I love you.